Meghan and Harry, never go anyplace where you're going to be treated as second class citizens. I would never ever put my family through something like the Jubilee again because they were not treated as equals to the other people in their family who were going to dinners, going to parties, and so forth. And because their children are very young, they can get away with doing that this year. But in the future, as their children become much more aware of the differences between the family members, as their children become much more questioning about their race, about what that means to them, and much more protective of their mother, their family, and themselves, you should never ever go to a place where people in advance are going to tell you that you are going to be treated like second class citizens. Either they treat you great or you don't go. You can easily send a nice message, a nice video, or something like that, which can be played. In fact, at the Queen's Jubilee, the thing that people liked most about seeing the Queen was her sitting there with a cartoon of Paddington Bear. That did not entail the Queen showing up. She did not have to go through anything. She did a little play skit that took her a couple of hours to do. It was done. It was played to the crowd. They loved it. And in the future, I would just say, just do a little skit, send it to the event, and that can be enough. When they're willing to accept you, they accept you, and then you can go and you can have equal treatment with everybody else. Now, it was said that there were boos when Meghan and Harry entered the Thanksgiving prayer, but there were more boos when Boris, when he and his wife entered. And if you listen, there were boos when William and Kate entered. There are always going to be boos when the royal family shows up because there are a lot of people who do not like the royal family. They do not like paying royals. They do not want there to be a royal family. They question why are they a royal family, and this is all on genetics, and they do not like having a royal family. So there are always going to be boos, and that's just tolerated when you're in the royal family. It was more so because of the publicity around Harry and Meghan, but there should be fewer boos because they're not taking money anymore from the people of England. So they should be happy that these two people are coming. They're being given special treatment because of Harry's genetics, but they're not taking money anymore. They're on their own. They're trying to figure out their future, and the people of England are not having to pay all of their bills. So there should be fewer boos for Harry and Meghan when they come around. And then, of course, there are many people who are just jealous. This girl who came from the United States, she wasn't involved with the royal family. She didn't know anything about the royals. She claimed she didn't know you have to bow to the Queen and so forth, all kinds of nonsense. People who live in England say, well, they should have been picked before her because they at least appreciate and know about the royal family. But she'll learn. She has to study, just like Kate did. It took Kate about 20 years. She's been practicing her history, her mannerisms, and all that's required of her to be in the royal family. She's practiced it every day for about 20 years. She's great at it. She looks great, and she has the stuffiness of the royal family that the people in England love. And she has her children. You know, when I'm out with somebody who has kids and the kids are acting up, I like when the parents take the kid aside and say something to straighten them out so that they don't cause a scene. Whatever a scene might be, I'll just say a scene. I was really irritated with Kate just sitting and smiling as Louis uh, thumbed his nose at the crowd, as he stuck out his tongue at the crowd, as he did all kinds of things which showed disrespect. So I don't know what he's learning at home, that he hates these people so much. But I didn't like the way she just smiled, and she had no resources as to how to handle Louis. I was also felt sorry for George and the daughter because they looked so bored. The girl looked actually most involved, but George looked very bored. He was blank faced, and I think he just zones out. He's somewhere else in his mind. I don't know what's going on with George, but I felt sorry for the kids for having to be put through such a grueling experience. They should have been allowed to come for a while and then go off and do other things. But at a young age, I don't think you're really required to sit through the whole agonizing experience of speeches and so forth. It's just too much for the little kids. So I would say to Meghan and Harry, don't accept this kind of treatment. I know they're your family. And if it's something that Harry really wants to go to, and they know they are not going to be treating the family equal, I would say let Harry go, and Meghan and the kids can stay home. And then you can explain to the kids why they're not going to be with the other children, because they won't be treated properly, and because they have a dislike for the mother. Kids always gravitate to the mother. They will protect the mother. They do not care about being royal. And if that's important to Harry, because that's what he grew up with, that might be something he does not want to give up because it means so much to him from his birth. But Meghan wasn't born into that. She's used to living without the pageantry of being a royal. And she and the children will do just fine at home while Harry goes off to a lot of the pageantry and events and customary handshaking and so forth that the royals do. And Meghan, don't be discouraged. You have eked out a position for yourself and your family in the United States and England that no one else has. You are bridging gaps that have been there for centuries. You are representing the many, many blacks who were slaves in England, who were slaves in the United States, who were left out of decisions and out of opportunities. And although many people may be jealous of you or may be confused as to what your role is because they've never seen anyone in this role before, because there never has been anyone in this role before, you must make this new path yours, and you must educate people as to who and what you represent, and you must educate people as to how you are going to be treated and how you will accept being treated. Do not go places where they will mistreat you, and if you're given an opportunity after being mistreated, you must speak up about the racism. One of the things I got from the Jubilee is this is training all of the young kids in England, in the United States, and around the world, but especially those kids who attended the Jubilee and saw the unequal treatment between Harry and his brother, mainly because of the woman that Harry married. Now, why are they upset with the woman that Harry married? It's going to be different. It's going to be explained differently in different families. Some people are going to say it's because she's of a different race. Some are going to say specifically it's because she's black. Some are going to say it's because she's this or she's that, and they'll go on and make up excuses. But this is passing racism on to the children. This is making a whole new age of people racist and finding ways to cover up their racism with various excuses. We know that the main reason that Meghan and Harry are being treated so unequally is because of racism. Sure, Meghan's made a lot of mistakes, but she can be trained. She can be taken aside by people who train all of the other people who work in the palace, and she can be trained how to talk, how to use the media, what you can and can't say in the media, and she can have her discussion as to why she thinks she needs to say this or why she needs to say that, and it can be explained to her about what it means if she says certain things about the royal family. She can be explained as to how her actions reflect on others in the royal family and what kinds of problems it causes for them. And she can have discussions. I mean, there are people who are trained in the palace, there are psychologists, there are psychiatrists, there are tons of people who can work with people who are having problems. Louis is going to have a problem too. I can tell already. Louis is not liking his parents that much. He needs attention and he feels he needs to act up at these public events. I don't know if Kate's that great of a mother. By the way he was treating her in public, I'm suggesting that there needs to be some sort of attention paid to Louis. I would never have treated my mother that way in public. I wouldn't have treated my mother that way in private. So we know that in the royal family there are many problems. And in the past, there have been even worse problems for royals. So Meghan's problem is not huge. It's not something that can't be corrected or improved or dealt with in a nice manner, out of public eye, so that they can all get along. Kate is going to be a queen someday, and she might have some snobbery about not wanting to have a relative who is of a different race. Kate was not raised to be charitable to minorities, as far as I know, or she may think of them of a lower class. Whatever the deal is with Kate, over time, she and Meghan will learn to treat each other better, because they are the only two women in the palace who are going to be experiencing very similar problems, and they will need to learn to trust each other and to confide in each other and to know how to get over disagreements. If people in the palace can't even get over minor disagreements among family members, they are totally not capable of handling disagreements between politicians or disagreements between countries or disagreements between races or any other disagreement. Disagreements between family members are some of the easiest disagreements to correct, and they are some of the easiest disagreements to ignore. But it says a lot about your character when you do not work to correct family disagreements, especially when it's about minor things. Now, the problem of things said about Andrew is totally different. You know, Andrew has all of these allegations of pedophilia, raping people, possibly even involved in missing children who are alleged to have been possibly even murdered under Epstein over their years of collusion of trafficking these young children. That's a different problem. That's a different type of family problem. That's a family problem you might not work out because it's a matter of character. It's a matter of ethics. It's a matter of what type of people do you want to put around yourself and your children. How much do you trust the relatives? That problem will probably not be worked out. A problem with Meghan should be very easy to correct. And if they can't correct it, then everybody, from the top down, needs to undergo some type of psychological therapy because they have barriers that they have been trained into having over the years, and they have biases and they have hatreds that they will not be able to overcome without help. So, I'm just ranting about the Jubilee. I did not like how it was so obviously racist and the way they were treating Harry and Meghan based on Meghan's race. That's all I saw that was different about these two people. There was no way that Meghan and Harry were going to cause such a fervor that they couldn't be seen, that they had to be hidden away in Frogmore, the old slave quarters. It was, to me, an embarrassment for the royals, and it shows that these people have deeper problems based on classism that they need to work on and overcome if they're going to become better royals in the future. Well, please like and subscribe, and that's it for now. Bye. Racism. It's got to be taught. You've got to be taught before it's too late, before you are 6 or 7 or 8, to hate all the people your relatives hate. You've got to be carefully taught. You've got to be carefully taught.